There was once an ancient city, so magnificent, so impossible, that people believed it could only have been built by the gods. A city rising from the dust of the ancient world, its walls stretching farther than the eye could see, its gates blazing with color and fire. A city where gold was not hidden, it was displayed. This was Babylon, a kingdom of wonder, where towering walls stood like mountains of stone, where the mighty Ishtar gate shimmered in deep blue brilliance, and where the legendary hanging gardens seemed to float between earth and heaven. Travelers came from distant lands just to witness it. Kings spoke of it with envy. Enemies feared it, because Babylon was not just a city. It was a statement, a declaration that human power had reached its peak. But behind every great kingdom, there is a mind, a vision, a man, and behind Babylon stood one name, Nebuchadnezzar II, the king who dreamed bigger than any ruler before him, the man who transformed a nation into an empire, and an empire into a wonder of the world under his command. Stone became monuments, desert became paradise, and a city became legend. But as Babylon rose higher, so did something else, something unseen, yet far more dangerous than any enemy at the gates: pride. Because when a man builds something the world has never seen, he begins to believe something even more dangerous, that he is untouchable. And the higher he builds, the further he may have to fall. Because what happens when the man behind the greatest kingdom on earth forgets who gave him the power to build it? This video is a cinematic retelling of the biblical account of King Nebuchadnezzar from Book of Daniel, chapter 4. Some dialogue, visuals, and dramatic elements have been creatively expanded for storytelling and emotional impact, while remaining faithful to the core biblical message. This content is intended to inspire reflection on pride, humility, and God's sovereignty, and is not meant to replace personal Bible study or spiritual guidance. Viewers are encouraged to read the full account in Book of Daniel for deeper understanding. At first, it didn't feel like pride. It felt like achievement. Every stone laid in Babylon, every wall raised, every gate forged in brilliance, was proof of something undeniable. He had done what no king before him could do. And with every passing day, the kingdom grew, stronger, richer, more untouchable. Nations that once stood against him now bowed. Kings who once ruled freely now answered to him. And in the silence of victory, a thought began to form, not spoken aloud, not yet, but alive in the depths of his mind. I did this. At first it came like a whisper, subtle, almost harmless, a quiet voice that followed him through the halls of his palace, through the gates of his city, through the echoes of praise that filled his throne room. You built this. You made Babylon great. You are the reason it stands. And the more he heard it, the more it began to feel true. Nebuchadnezzar II walked among his people, not just as a ruler, but as the source of their greatness. Gratitude faded, dependence disappeared, and in its place, something far more dangerous took root: ownership. He no longer saw the kingdom as something entrusted to him, but something that belonged to him. Every tower, every garden, every victory, his. And when a man begins to believe he is the source of his own power, he stops looking upward. He stops acknowledging the unseen hand that placed him where he stands. Because pride does not arrive all at once. It grows quietly, patiently, like a seed buried deep beneath the surface. invisible, until it begins to take over everything. And by the time it is seen, it is already too late. The king still ruled, still commanded, still conquered, but something within him had changed. He no longer walked with humility. He walked with certainty, not the kind rooted in truth, but the kind rooted in self. And one day, that certainty would rise to his lips, not as a whisper, but as a declaration, a single moment that would change everything. Because there is a point when pride stops being internal and becomes spoken. And when it is spoken, heaven responds. And for this king, that moment was coming. One night, sleep did not bring rest. It brought a vision, a tree, massive, unshakable, reaching into the heavens. Its leaves were lush, deep emerald, full of life. Its branches stretched across the earth. Its fruit fed nations. Under its shadow, animals found shelter. In its branches, birds made their homes. It was more than a tree. It was power. It was dominance. It was a kingdom that seemed eternal. Then suddenly, a voice, not human, not earthly, a watcher descended from heaven and cried out, "Cut down the tree, strip its leaves, scatter its fruit, let the beasts flee, and the birds fly away." The sound echoed like thunder. The tree crashed, its glory gone in an instant, but the stump remained, bound in iron, surrounded by grass, and something chilling followed. Let his mind be changed from that of a man, and let him be given the mind of a beast, until 7 times pass over him. The king awoke, but the fear did not leave him. He summoned his wise men. None could explain it. Then Daniel was called, and when Daniel heard the dream, he froze, not because he didn't understand, but because he did. "My lord," Daniel said carefully, "I wish this dream were for your enemies." Silence filled the room. "The tree you saw is you." The king's expression tightened. "You have grown strong. Your greatness reaches the heavens." Daniel paused, because what came next was a warning. "But you will be driven away from people. You will live with the beasts of the field. You will eat grass like the ox. 7 years will pass until you acknowledge this truth, that the Most High rules over all kingdoms and gives them to anyone he chooses." Then Daniel leaned forward, his voice softer now. "So my king, break away from your sins. Do what is right. Be merciful. Perhaps your prosperity will continue." Days passed, then weeks, then months. No judgment, no voice from heaven, no consequences. The king returned to his throne, to his power, to his glory, and slowly the warning faded. Pride does not disappear quietly. It waits, it rebuilds, it whispers, "You're still in control." 12 months later, the king stood alone on his palace roof. The sun was setting. Babylon glowed like fire. Golden towers, endless walls, hanging gardens suspended in the sky. A masterpiece, his masterpiece. He looked out over it all and smiled, not with gratitude, but with ownership. "Is this not the great Babylon?" His voice echoed into the air. "That I have built." The city shimmered beneath him,
built for my glory.
by my mighty power. The sky stood silent for the glory of my majesty. And in that exact moment, before the words had even faded, a voice fell from heaven. Not loud, but absolute. "Your kingdom has been taken from you." Everything stopped. The wind, the sound, time itself. And then it happened. Not outside him, inside him. Something snapped. His thoughts fractured. His vision blurred. The crown on his head suddenly felt meaningless. The palace walls felt like they were closing in. The air became suffocating. The king staggered, confused, panicked. His breathing quickened. His heart pounded like war drums. And then he ran, not like a king fleeing danger, but like a man escaping his own mind. He tore through the palace gates, into the darkness, into the wilderness, screaming, and Babylon watched its king disappear. They searched for him. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, but the king was gone. In his place, something else remained, a shadow in the fields, a figure crawling through grass, unrecognizable. Time passed. Rain fell on him, cold and relentless. The sun burned him, day after day. His royal garments rotted away. His body changed. Hair grew long, thick, tangled like feathers. His nails curled, hardened into claws. The man who once held a scepter now dug into the dirt, searching for food, eating grass, drinking from puddles. No throne, no voice, no identity, only instinct, only survival. 7 years, 7 long years of silence, 7 years of forgetting who he was. But deep within, beneath the madness, a truth remained. Because this was not random. This was not meaningless. God was not destroying a king. He was dismantling pride, stripping away illusion, breaking a man to rebuild him. Then, after 7 years, something shifted. No thunder, no warning, no dramatic sign. Just a moment, a quiet, fragile moment. The man who once ruled nations lifted his eyes, not in pride, not in defiance, but in surrender. For the first time, he looked upward, and in that instant, everything changed. Clarity returned, thoughts aligned, his mind restored. I, Nebuchadnezzar, raised my eyes to heaven, and my sanity returned. Not through power, not through effort, but through recognition, through surrender, through truth. And just as suddenly as he fell, he was restored. His kingdom returned, his authority reinstated, his throne waiting. But this was not the same man. The voice that once claimed glory now gave it away. The king stood again over Babylon, but his words had changed. Now I praise and exalt and glorify the King of heaven. The man who once said, I built this, now declared, all his works are right, and his ways are just. And then, the final truth, those who walk in pride, he is able to humble, not as a warning, but as a testimony, because he had lived it, and perhaps that is the most terrifying part of Nebuchadnezzar's story. Not the madness, not the wilderness, not even the years he lost beneath the storms and silence, but the realization that he was surrounded by glory and still forgot the one who gave it to him. Because pride rarely announces itself. It grows quietly, in success, in comfort, in moments when we begin to believe that we alone built the life we stand in. Nebuchadnezzar thought Babylon was his greatest achievement, until the wilderness revealed who he truly was without the crown. And maybe that is why this story still echoes through generations. Because somewhere between the palace and the wilderness, between power and brokenness, between arrogance and surrender, we find ourselves. The shocking truth is this: God did not destroy Nebuchadnezzar to end his story. He broke him to save him. Every lost year in the wilderness carried a purpose. Every storm stripped away an illusion. Every moment of silence led to one life-changing realization: that kingdoms fade, power fades, pride fades, but the mercy of God remains. And after 7 years of darkness, one simple act changed everything. He looked up, not as a king, not as a conqueror, but as a broken man finally searching for truth. And perhaps right now, someone listening to this story is standing at the edge of their own wilderness. Maybe your battle looks different. Maybe your storm is hidden behind a smile. Maybe pride, pain, fear, or loss has slowly pulled you farther than you ever expected. But Nebuchadnezzar's story leaves us with a question that refuses to disappear. What if the breaking season in your life is not the end? What if it is the beginning of restoration? Because the same God who humbled the king of Babylon was also the God who restored him. And sometimes, the moment you finally look up is the moment everything begins to change.
Thank you, my brothers. The people await you, my king. Babylon welcomes her son. My beloved people,